Some plus-size passengers want the FAA to give them an extra seat for free. In other words, to make it a government regulation that if you're larger, you get an extra seat for free, or free to them. As we all know, that means the airlines will just raise prices for all of us. Tigress Osborn is here, chair of the National Association to Advance FAA Acceptance. It's good to see you. We appreciate this. How would this work effectively? Is it a size test or a weight test? Who gets the seats for people of size and who gets the normal seats?
Well, the way that I would call them the typical seats. I mean,
yeah.
The way that the airlines judge that now is based on where the armrest is. If you need more space than where the armrest comes down, then you are either forced to buy a second seat on most airlines, or you can be removed from the plane. So we could use that same standard, that if you need more space than what is between armrest to armrest, then you would be given more space. We are actually not, NAAFA is not the organization that started the petition to the FAA, but we have been long-term advocates for fat people since 1969, and so we talk about this issue a lot. The policy that Southwest Airlines has in the U.S. right now is one in which passengers who need extra space get extra space. And it would be fantastic, whether it's through the FAA or through the airline industry.
I'm going to put there's a caveat, right, with Southwest, which is you get extra space if they have it, and if not, a lot of times everybody's just sort of squished in and the plane takes off. And I say that having been on some Southwest flights where that happened. And the flip side is more and more we're having these disagreements and arguments and everything else. I guess at some point, if I weigh more and it costs more for the plane to take me from one place to the other, if what I'm paying for is this amount of space and I want or I take up more space, why shouldn't I be the one who pays for that, rather than the rest of the passengers through higher fares or being uncomfortable?
Well, first of all, even if you are willing to do that, most airlines don't have great policies for allowing you to do that. It's hard to buy a second seat in your own name. Customer service agents don't know how to sell you a second seat in your own name. So either way, we need better policies from the airlines around how to handle larger customers. But I think one of the issues here is whether you think of it as paying for transportation from point A to point B, or whether you think of it as sort of like booty space from point A to point B. In Canada, they have a regulation that they refer to as one customer, one fare. And what they think is fair is that everybody pays the same price to get from point A to point B. And if you need more space than that, you can get a second seat. So there's like a lot of different ways we could look at this. We could work together with the airlines on having some different styles of seat. Is it possible to create safe bench seating, for example? Is it possible for folks to arrange themselves so that they are, if you want to travel with your other, with another fat person in your life, your partner, a family member, or whatever, you two sharing the seat between you is even harder than you getting one extra seat beside you somewhere. So
here's the thing. I gotta run, but I will tell you, you get no arguments from me that the airlines need to be better.
Great. We'll take that.
There you go. All right. Thank you for joining us.
What I just encourage folks to do is not blame the passenger, right? The system can change to make this work for all of us. So instead of blaming the person next to you who's also uncomfortable, think about how we could change the system so all of us could travel safely and comfortably.
Fair point. We appreciate you being here. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.